car accident, or you get a disease, or you get between a 4-year-old and their Barney DVDs, you're going to stay away from too much harm. But unfortunately, there are a lot of unmentioned things that I didn't just mention that are a lot worse than getting between the 4-year-old and his Barney DVD, such as a fire, a mudslide, a flood, an earthquake, a tsunami, a hurricane, or a tornado, or even Armageddon. Just in case it happens in Southern California, we need an escape plan. You especially need it to be fast, effective, and efficient. For a great example of an inefficient escape plan, we can look at New Orleans. Their exit capacity in 12 hours, they were trying to get everyone out of the city. They could only get 2/3 of the people out of the city, which means that since we live in Los Angeles County and it's a lot more populated, you really want your escape plan to be fast. That can be one of those 2/3 that actually gets out. So the first step in exiting the area, if there was a tornado, is to escape from your house, as awkward as that may seem. After the first step, it's relatively easy to do steps 2 and 3. We try to get in the car and drive away as fast as possible. So let's focus on step number 1. Okay. To evacuate your family from your house, the first thing you need to do is create an evacuation plan. You can do it kind of like this. You see, if this was his house, even though it's pretty small, what you could do is you could draw a floor plan of your house and then draw an arrow showing them which way to go. Well, I'm sure all of us can do this and figure out the best way to escape from our house. It can be surprising how badly this can be done. For examples, let's look at 9/11 in the World Trade Center. According to a study done by researchers from the University of Greenwich, more than 90% of the survivors from the World Trade Center crash delayed evacuating the building. They took time away before they left the building in order to do things like save their work, shutting down the computers, putting on different shoes, and even using the bathroom. The researchers interviewed 271 individuals who actually survived the crash inside the building at the time. And these people were delayed from leaving the building anywhere between 5 and half an hour, 5 minutes and half an hour. It also took even longer to get out because there were so many people that they clogged the stairs. There was one man who said that he was running on the stairs and he had to stop at level 55 because there were just a ton of people. And he managed to survive, but it was very hectic. Now, if you see that didn't really work. That didn't really work. But if you think about it, that's a really important building in a really important city like New York. So shouldn't it have a really important escape plan? So now that we know all these things, one of the questions that you can ask is, why did these bad things happen? Well, it's probably not because they didn't have an escape plan. They probably thought through that. But the people were probably not properly trained on how to do the plan. In fact, the head researcher from the team, he said that we need to train people that when they hear the alarm, you gotta get out. You drop everything and get out. If we can do these things, we stand a better chance of surviving whatever disaster, flood, fire, hurricane, Armageddon we ever happen to be in. And we are able to tell a pretty great survival story afterwards. Now, the simplest way, like I showed you, is to draw a floor plan of your house and tell your family which way to panic. By doing these things, we can improve our lives now by having a fallback and being secure in our thoughts, and we can secure our lives in the future when we don't die. Now, there are also other minor details that you might like to cover while you're attempting to survive Armageddon or an earthquake or a fire or whatever happens. You might want to make sure you have a car. Secondly, you might want to make sure the car has gas in it. And thirdly, you want to make sure that there actually is a disaster and someone's not pulling a prank on you. Now, there are other things that you may want to consider, like if you have a second-story building, to have ladders available so that you can climb down if there's a fire on the first floor. And if you live underground, it is advisable to have shovels so that you can dig your way up. Okay. Now that we know all these things, everyone needs to be prepared just in case something happens, because we never know what's going to happen, or when it's going to happen, and how it's going to happen. So we need to be prepared we can draw a floor plan, and we can show each other which way we're going to panic. We're going to help each other to be more prepared so that we don't have to live the rest of our lives not having a defense against emergencies that could happen but probably won't. And like a good Boy Scout, we need to be prepared for the rest of our lives.